All right, welcome to another debate with me and Weston. Hi, Weston.
Hello.
All right, today we're going to be talking about Trump. Is that fair?
I looked at your 16 things presidents should do and
I mean,
thought,
we could talk about that, but one sec. Let me get my notes. But yeah, give me one sec. All right. All right. So today we're going to be debating President Trump. That's the topic. Whether or not you should support him.
okay, so the question on the table is why should we support Trump?
No. Should you support Trump?
Okay, should a person support Trump?
If we come to a conclusion, we might have some time for some other topics, but let's focus on that. All right. So, Weston, do you support Trump?
I do.
All right. Tell me why.
So last time was the first topic or the first reason I brought up was the immigration. That's probably the biggest thing.
Okay.
So that's what he ran on originally in 2016. Wait, let's see. I'm getting my ears messed up here. For his first term, leading up to his first term, and then that became probably the biggest issue for the second term as well. Um, so I think that's really important. Um, is his workings, his foreign policy is probably the strongest area of Trump. I mean, which is what a president is supposed to be focused on, because presidents are supposed to be foreign affairs, whereas the legislature is supposed to be more internal domestic issues. And like Trump has dealt great with China, has dealt fair business deals, comes from him being a businessman,
All right.
and
Let's
gets
talk.
things done.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Trump's foreign policy. What has Trump done exactly? You said he made some business deals. What has Trump done with China?
Tariffs,
What have the tariffs done?
tariffs, decentivize, discourage purchase of foreign products.
Okay. Well, you realize that our economy depends heavily on imports. China's a big trade partner. So why would we pay more for their goods? Why does that help?
So that less people will buy their goods.
Well, what is this? Do you understand what a free market is? So a free market, the whole goal of a free market is to be able to exchange goods that help you out and help somebody else out, right? You both benefit. That's what a free market is. The more trading partners you have, the better. Um, when you pay more for goods, you realize that's bad for you, right? And
Not
buying and
necessarily.
also buying goods from a foreign country helps us, right? I mean, that's why we buy them, right? That's why businesses want to buy their goods is because they help us. Why else would they want to buy them?
When you're buying other, foreign countries. Okay, first of all, mentioned the free market. That's the whole point of the free. Well, usually free market refers to within a country,
Well,
like free market
I'm referring to free
doesn't
trade. Free trade.
like
The
we're not talking about
global trade
global
is a
free
thing.
market.
Global trade. Then I mean, I don't want to get hung up on terms here. Whatever
Sure, but usually
a free market referring to a free market as in the global economy, which benefits everybody. Why else would we trade with people unless it
okay,
would be beneficial for them? So, please.
So I'm totally in favor of free market when it comes to national free market. Encouraging our own businesses, building our own nation up. And that's like America first. That kind of encapsulates everything about Trump. Is we're gonna before we start helping other countries, we're gonna build ourselves up first so that we're enabled to do what we need to do.
So then, why would we limit? Why would we limit the goods that we purchase? How does it help America?
Once again, when people are discouraged and they're not it's not illegal to buy things from other countries, that would be like embargo or policy. But this is discouraging it so that people will buy American products instead that are cheaper. So it encourages American businesses and it helps American businesses.
Okay, so what tariffs have done is increase prices. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or foreign products.
For domestic products as well. That is demonstrated by data. That is common sense. I mean, of course, if you have a business that has to pay more for goods by, having to pay more for foreign goods or having to get them domestically, prices are going to raise. We saw that in the first term. We're seeing that now. Okay, so that's not beneficial. That increases prices.
I would agree that overall, you're going to be paying more for a given product because there's cheap Chinese labor. Of course, you're going to buy them for cheaper because it's off cheap Chinese labor. So, what we want, okay, first of all, more expensive usually means better quality. That's one thing. But even if it's the same quality, let's say it's the same quality, it still helps American businesses, and that builds up our country, helps our economy.
It has hurt our economy. That's just what the statistics show. So it's increased prices of everyday goods, which you and I pay for. Basically groceries, things that we buy, vehicles, basically any kind of, building houses, because where do we get lumber from? Other countries, Let me give you an example. Do you agree with tariffs on bananas?
I agree with tariffs on anything.
On bananas. Okay, so, America loves bananas, right? We eat billions of them every year, right? Good thing, right?
Yeah.
Why would we raise prices on bananas?
Okay. First of all, can we grow bananas in the United States? No. I don't know. I don't think so.
So then maybe we shouldn't tariff bananas?
Maybe so. But do we need all the most exotic fruits? I mean, not that bananas, well, we don't think it's exotic because we get it all the time. It's so readily available. But, it's not like we're going to die if we don't have this certain fruit, like the star fruit or mango.
Why would we make bananas more expensive? What's the point?
Since there is no U.S. business competitor, at that point it would be simply a penalty on a certain country.
And so why would we penalize another country?
If they don't do our will, or don't follow through with a deal, or
so various. What country is not following our will when we are trading, when we're buying bananas? What did they do wrong, and why would we increase the price of bananas?
Situational of banana. Where do we get? Where we get most of our banana? I don't know.
So we probably should. Probably shouldn't have to pay. Americans should not have to pay more for bananas. Can we at least agree on that? It's stupid.
Not necessarily.
There's no point in it. You're creating a fictional scenario. You have no examples. You're saying our will. I don't even know what that means. What is our will? I don't know what that means. Let me read you.
So, bananas come from mostly Latin America and the Caribbean. Guatemala
So
is the largest.
what are they not?
Yeah.
What American will are they not doing?
Um, I'm not. I don't have like a specific thing. I'm
Then
just
why would when the so you don't have an example of why would we would increase the price of bananas, but you think we should increase
that
the
does.
price of bananas?
So first of all, is this a real thing that you're saying first,
What do you mean? What is
or
real
is
or
this
not real
is this
about it?
is this a hypothetical scenario,
No,
or is
this is
this
real. This is real. Bananas
okay?
are being
Okay.
tariffed.
Okay. Um, just because I don't know what the reason is doesn't mean there isn't one.
Well, the burden of proof is on you. I mean, you're supporting Trump, who is increasing the price of bananas, and you're saying that there is some sort of American will that we want to impose on just so happens to be Latin America.
So
We want to punish them for whatever
okay,
reason,
okay, yeah, okay.
which doesn't look
Okay, I
good
guess
globally at all. So what's the
one
purpose
thing
of
that comes
what's
to
the purpose
mind.
of punishing them? What's the purpose of increasing the price of bananas so that Americans have to pay more? What there is no point, Weston.
So, so what do you think Trump's motivation is then?
It's his ego. He basically wants to have policies that he feels good about. That's
So
the main thing.
he just wants to make people pay more for bananas just for the hell of it.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, what you said is there's not really a good reason
There's
for, in
not.
other words,
There's not. He's an
really
idiot.
good reason.
He's an absolute idiot.
Okay. So then there's no, so he's doing it just for the hell of it then.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Okay,
He's
well,
doing it because of his ego. He wants to look good. He thinks he's smart. He's not. That's it. He just wants to have some kind of policy. He wants to look tough from other countries. And regarding like what it has done for our public image, I mean, do you think that the tariffs have helped like America's image globally and made us feel not feel seem more powerful and more favored around the globe? Is that what you think is happening?
I think it helps American businesses. The principle
It
of it,
does.
it
Well,
makes
it does not help American businesses. It increases the price
it
of
does
everything.
because if there's a competitor that has cheaper, like cheap Chinese labor,
Yeah.
and they sell what umbrellas,
Do you
they're
okay?
for like
So let
for
me
two cents
let me talk to you about tariffs. Tariffs increase the price of all goods. It's a tax. Tariffs are a tax
on foreign goods.
on imported goods, but Americans pay the tax.
Yes,
Yes, so we pay the tax,
yes.
and you know who pays that tax is the poor. And let me explain why. Let me explain why. The poor buy goods that are imported more than the rich people. So,
Really,
groceries,
that does
yes.
not make any sense.
It does. So
At all.
groceries, it does. We pay more for
So, like, the
groceries.
rich are going to buy imported wine from France and cheeses and all these, I don't know, caviar.
For
The
one,
poor are buying that kind of stuff.
they're not buying wine from foreign countries. They're buying, goods that are important to them, like household goods, like food. Basically, buying a vehicle. All the materials that are
Isn't
required
that
for
food that's
American.
grown in the
Wait,
U.S.?
wait. American businesses have to pay more for American vehicles, and more for parts because obviously of the tariffs, and that increases the prices of vehicles unless people are buying vehicles. That pattern is happening throughout every industry. It's destroying industries. I mean, you can talk to even Republicans. Even Republicans are like, "What are you doing with these tariffs? They're not helping." I mean, can you give me an example of an American business that has boomed because of the tariffs?
Not in particular, but I know from principle it makes sense to me. Tariffs make sense to me on principle. Not I don't have specific scenarios.
So they make sense to you, but you don't have any statistics, you don't have any evidence, you don't have
Nope,
anything,
I
nothing.
don't.
All right, let's move on. So you think that tariffs have improved?
Wait a second. Do you have statistics?
Um,
You said tariffs are destroying industries. That's what you said.
yep.
Okay.
So if you look
One
at
example.
all right. So the auto industry, basically, the increase of goods has increased the price of vehicles. I don't know exact statistics, but it has increased like at
Okay,
least
wait a
5 to
second.
ten
I
percent.
mean that American industries are being destroyed.
The prices are going way up, and it's not helping
That
the
doesn't mean
economy.
industries destroyed.
It's not destroyed. It's not destroyed. It is not doing well. I'll say that. The auto industry is struggling. Let me give you
How does
a
that make
more.
sense though? Like, if
When you import goods
how will they
like
do better
steel,
if people are able to buy cheaper vehicles from other countries? I don't see how that makes sense.
because when you buy cheaper goods, you pay less money, and you get the same product.
I don't know. Like Michelin, okay, or Ford, or let's go Ford. Okay, that's American vehicle industry, right?
Yes.
Business. Okay,
They've
how
they've
does it
I'll
help?
just say that they've had to lay off hundreds of people. Their prices of their vehicles have gone up, like every other American auto brand. Every domestic auto business, they've had to raise their prices.
Okay,
Parts are more
let
expensive.
me just
Labor's more
finish my
expensive in
little
America.
scenario here.
Okay.
Okay, Ford versus Toyota, right? Non-American biz- truck business. Okay, how does buying like uh the accessibility of those Toyota trucks at a cheaper price help Ford?
Um, I mean, who cares? Who cares
Because
if it?
okay, this is why it matters. Because if Toyota trucks are more expensive because of the tariffs, then that means
No,
Americans
no,
are
no,
going
no,
to
no.
buy cheaper options.
Ford trucks are more expensive now. Domestic businesses are struggling
Is it
because
more?
they're.
Is it
Let
more
me
expensive
Weston.
at Toyota?
The so the goods that are used like steel to make American vehicles domestically are now more expensive because of the tariffs. You have to pay more to get those resources like steel.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
Now Ford has to raise their prices. Why would you
Okay.
not buy a Toyota that's cheaper that's built somewhere else?
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, getting the materials from rather than getting from other countries, you have to get them from American business, like steel businesses, steel companies. That makes total sense that the price would go up. Um, but what that does is it now we're actually funding. Well, funding is the right word. Um, giving actually creating businesses that way because now have to have a steel business to get the steel to make to the truck, and we have to have all these resources from our own companies, from our own businesses, and it's gonna.
How much business has Ford increased? How many more jobs has it created for Ford?
Well, if they have to get steel from the U.S., I mean, if it's cheaper, if there's too much paying too much tariffs to buy from other countries, and that means they're gonna have to look somewhere in the U.S., right?
The answer is they've had to lay off people.
Wait, I'm trying to think this through. Okay,
I mean, you can argue with the statistics, but I mean that's what's happening.
that's no, the logic of the argument has to work.
What are the that's the statistics are what's happening.
But what's the
I
logic that
mean,
explains the statistics?
I don't have to explain what's happening when the tariffs have resulted in Ford having to fire people and other companies having to fire people and
Okay,
other
wow.
companies
So
because they're not making as much money. They can't afford
that
to have
doesn't
all
make
these
sense
people, so
though,
they're
because
laying people off.
how does buying cheaper Toyotas make Ford more money? Other than okay, except for the thing you said about getting the supplies, it would be more expensive because the other things are tariffed. Not just the trucks are tariffed or the vehicles are tariffed, but also materials are tariffed. That would
So
explain.
we are arguing that the tariffs would help American businesses. They haven't. That's just a statistic fact. They
Okay,
haven't.
Let me back up. Let's let's say that let's leave the materials thing aside. Let's say there are no tariffs on any of the materials to make a truck. There's just a tariff on trucks. Okay, let's just because we're overcomplicating it by getting into all this. I mean, that's interesting. I want to know, but just on principle, I want to see how this works. If
Okay.
it costs a person more to buy Toyota than to buy Ford, then aren't people going to buy? And that's like, let's say those are the only two options. You have a foreign product and you have a U.S. product. The only way to get a truck is you have to pick one of these two, and one's more expensive. You're going to go with the Toyota. I mean, with the Ford, which means that Ford is going to be thrive as a business, right? If the tariffs are taken away and Toyota becomes cheaper, then Ford does not thrive because no one's going to buy their truck because it's too expensive compared to.
So
I mean,
what you are forgetting about this scenario is that as an everyday American, not as a huge corporation, Ford is one of the hugest corporations in the world. They are beyond wealthy. I I don't really have sympathy for them as an average American that can't afford a vehicle myself. Um, I think that buying the cheaper product would be beneficial to me. If Ford can't make a cheaper product and not a superior product, then why would I buy Ford? Obviously, you want the free market to dictate. You want the consumer to have the power to choose the better product. If Ford isn't making a better product or a cheaper product, then why would the consumer want to buy that? And then the other point is, why would you want to punish a consumer for wanting to buy something overseas?
Okay.
When it's better. When it's better for them. When it makes their lives better because they're saving money now, they can save more.
Okay,
Save more, spend it on something that's important like groceries or rent, childcare, whatever it is, you know.
you just called tariffs a punishment. Okay.
They are. Well, I mean, how are
Okay.
they not? How are they not?
Well,
When
it's
literally,
sales tax.
listen,
It's
listen.
sales tax punishment.
There is 0 point in increasing the taxes on foreign goods that Americans have to pay. It's baffling to me that you think that this is helping America, that you think America first. All this is American consumers paying more. That's all it is.
Okay, is sales tax a punishment?
Sales tax is, it's not a punishment. It's something that people pay to help the government out.
Okay.
Yep.
So why are tariffs not? Why are tariffs a punishment and sales tax is not?
For one, they predominantly target the poor. For two, they're completely not necessary. And for three, they just hurt American businesses.
Okay, I want to hear that. Can you say the three again?
They predominantly affect the poor. They
Okay.
are a totally unnecessary tax, an unnecessary way for the government to make money. It's unnecessary. We were fine before. There are other ways to increase our government revenue by taxing the rich. And thirdly, it's just, increasing the prices of everything. It's causing inflation. It's increasing grocery prices, general good prices, and American business prices.
I would say I can see how it would increase prices, but I can also see how it could increase your jobs and the amount of money a business is making, which means the amount of money employees and employers are making.
Is that happening? No, it's not. So what's the point of debating this when it's just not happening?
I don't think there's a good. I have not been presented with a good enough reason why it would not work, and it would obviously would need time.
Let me kind of let me frame this.
Get adjusted. There's an adjustment period. It's not just like boom, it's all good.
Well, let me. He's had a term and what now? More tariffs, and it hasn't happened. It's gotten worse. How long are we gonna wait here till things get better?
First of all, I don't know the facts, like the statistics.
I clearly understand.
So, but on which businesses is I guess I could look at the stock market. That might help. But
okay. Can I frame this? So you support Trump because he's got tariffs, right? That's one of the reasons why you support him.
Huge. Well, yeah. Going along with his foreign policy.
Wait. And no, just one of the reasons why is tariffs, right?
Yeah.
Do you still support him because of tariffs?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I thought we just went through this.
Be- but they're not working
I don't see how they wouldn't work.
because statistically they're not working.
How does taking out foreign competitors not make American businesses thrive? Like it doesn't make
I just explained it to you. Okay, listen. Tariffs are bad overall because they increase the price of goods that are not necessary, like steel, groceries, food, all sorts of things that we get imported.
but when they're purchased, where's that money going though? It's going to American businesses, which means you and me.
No, it's not. It's going to the government. Tariffs go straight to
No,
the government.
okay, the tariffs portion of it, yes. Wait a sec, wait a sec. No. When you buy U.S. products, that goes to the U.S. businesses, correct? I mean, aside from sales tax and all that, but there's no tariffs on U.S. products, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So people are incentivized to buy U.S. products instead.
Yes, that is true.
So that helps U.S. businesses because they're getting more money.
If that's your goal, I mean, your everyday consumer has to pay more, which is not good. I don't support rich
No,
businesses that are getting
no, because everyday
that are already
consumers,
rich.
you and
I
me, we're
support people
also
who need to be able to afford things like groceries. You know.
no, we're talking not just business. I mean, business includes you and me, includes the consumer because.
But we have to pay more.
But where's the again? Where's that money going? It's going
It's
to a
going.
business which employs you and me.
Yeah, so the money goes to America, but overall productivity goes down because there's less international trade. If you think about it logically, the more resources we have, the more prosperity, the more prosperous we can be. Let me explain. When you exchange something, you're benefiting, right? And the more free trade there is, the more that you can, the more power the consumer has to be able to make choices, to be able to improve, make the best business decisions, and the most productive decisions. When you increase the price of steel and you increase the price of anything from bananas to other resources, wood for building homes, um, any of these imports, you are hurting free trade. You're hurting the market.
Okay,
So
one thing I'll just
so
from what you said, I'll just one thing I somewhat disagree with is it takes away like as if people aren't free to still buy what they want.
well
Um,
you are coercing people into trying to purchase domestic goods, and you're increasing the prices of foreign goods,
okay,
imports.
with
So
coercing is
for
too strong. With way coercing,
so you had free trade before. You had somebody say, "Hey, this is the best deal. This is the cheapest price for this food." You increased it arbitrarily, and that's it. You just increased the price of everything that we imported, and that's it. That's all that happened was you paid more for goods.
it's this. Well, okay, free trade. Okay, you're applying it to like a global economy, and and
Well, stop.
so okay,
Let me explain
which is just
something.
strange. I just never used to
When you
figure it
trade
that way.
something with an American, how is that different with trading something from somebody from China? The same transaction takes place.
Government, different.
If you buy something from an American, how is that different from buying something from somebody from China when you get the same good for whatever price? It's the same transaction. You give them value, they give you value. That's
No,
how
because
trade
one of
works.
those transactions is actually supporting your own people, and which includes you. You're actually
What if your
your
people suck?
country is
You know,
supporting
I don't
itself.
know what to say. What if the product that you're getting from your own people isn't as cheap, isn't as good?
Okay, so that's when you said coerce earlier. I thought that was too strong. I think it incentivizes buying U.S. products, but it doesn't demand that they do. You could just pay a higher price, and if you think a foreign product is actually better, then you can pay a higher price for it
But what's the
and
point?
still get it. It's not like you
Well,
can't
that's,
buy
but you
it.
understand that that hurts free trade. That hurts that consumer because they have to pay more. It also hurts American businesses too. I mean, I am. Do I need to say it again?
Okay,
When you have a
the
tariff,
consumer.
it increases the prices of a good that you get from somebody else. It's completely not necessary, affects the poor, and it doesn't help the consumer. It hurts the
The
consumer
way it
because they
helps
have
the
to pay
consumer,
more.
the way it helps the consumer is that it feeds the money back into the economy. It boosts the
Right,
economy.
and is that
Okay,
working?
which
Is that working? How's the economy
again,
today, Weston? You know,
oh,
I
okay.
don't know what to say.
How does
The economy sucks
again?
under Trump. Okay, the economy sucks.
I
Tariffs are not
literally
working. So, okay, you have this logic that tariffs should work. They're not working. I also have other arguments why tariffs are just completely not working. So, let's see here. Countries that have stopped shipping packages to the U.S. How many countries do you think I'm going to list here?
can you say that? What did that? Say that again. What you just
Countries
said
that
there.
have stopped shipping packages to the U.S. because of the
Okay,
tariffs. How many
I'm sure
countries?
plenty,
Yeah,
plenty.
exactly.
Yeah,
United Kingdom. Is that
that's the
good?
point. I mean, that's
Is that good? Is that good?
yes,
Well, how is that good? That the
because
United Kingdom has stopped shipping packages to the United States.
sure, that's great.
Okay. Um, how is that great?
Because now Americans will buy from American businesses and support themselves.
This whole idea is absurd of American individualism and America first. All you're doing is hurting Americans because now you're not getting
True.
goods from one of our allies, which is
How
the
does it
United
help
Kingdom.
us buy? Okay, it's just cheaper, but that's just a.
Are you stupid? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you obviously if the consumer wants to buy something and it benefits them, they're going to buy it. If they want a package shipped from the United Kingdom, they want a package shipped. Now that's just completely off the table.
No, it's not.
No, I don't think you understand. Like packages have just stopped shipping to the US from the
Okay,
United Kingdom.
maybe certain countries. Okay,
Is that good? An ally that's been our ally for hundreds of years, and now they're just not sending packages to us. Oh my
I
god.
mean, I don't really. I mean,
No,
if
that's
it's going
bad.
to buy American products again, and that's helps us. So
How does that help us? It puts
because
okay. You think
where's the
you
money
you
going? You got to follow the money. The money
it
goes
so we pay
to
more. We pay more, and we get less goods. That's what's happening
pay more to whom?
to Americans, and so we pay more.
Yes.
Yes, so we pay more to ourselves and get less out of it.
So we're feeding ourselves, feeding the money back into
Yeah, and
ourselves. That's
it's ultimately hurting ourselves because we have restrictions on trade. Anyway, okay, so the United Kingdom has stopped shipping packages to us. Germany, Lithuania, excuse me, the Czech, I can't say it, Czech Republic, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Greece, Spain, Andorra, Portugal, Malta, Liechtenstein, France, Italy, Slovenia, Austria, Norway, Sweden, Denmark. All right. So, do you think that tariffs have had some sort of effect on other countries? Like maybe they would, like Trump said, like lower their tariff rates for us. You think that's worked?
okay. The question is,
Trump said that foreign countries would give into, like you said, American will, and basically be intimidated and tariff us less. Basically, be like, hey, we're imposing our will on you because we're Americans. You're gonna have to listen to us. How's that worked?
I think it's worked with. I thought it worked with China.
It hasn't worked at all. Nobody has reduced their tariff rates on us. In fact, they've increased it as retaliation. The whole world, actually.
Well, I mean that's on them, really. It doesn't.
Yeah,
But
we hurt because
we're not. But
now other countries aren't trading with us. Do you know what's happened on a global scale? Is that China is now a more trusted trader than the U.S. People trust China more than the U.S. now because of what we've done.
I don't care what other countries do. Um,
Wait,
it's
you don't care what other countries do. Then what was the point? I thought
oh,
the
they're
point
their
was
own.
I
They
thought
can think about their own
I
affairs.
thought the point was to impose our will on them.
Okay, like okay. So if we're not going to have fair trade, which means
We
equal
did.
tariffs
We had completely fine trade before the tariffs.
or equal like fair deals, then you're going to be tariffed until you. And if you don't comply, then we're just not
It's
going
had
to
the
trade.
opposite. It's had the opposite
So
effect, hurting. It's not only hurt American reputation across the globe, it's hurt our economy because now we've lost trading partners or they've increased their tariff rates. It hasn't worked, Weston. It's done the opposite.
if we're not trading with other people, then that means we're again feeding ourselves from
Do
our
you
own.
understand how a market works? Do you understand how any kind of market? You understand that we get like isolating ourselves and saying that we're going to be okay on our own is really stupid. That's really stupid. Do you understand that like we need other countries, that we've been trading with them forever, and that like any kind of business understands this. You don't just like isolate yourself in like a little tribe and say, "Oh, we're just going to pay ourselves and we're just going to like tariff everybody else's goods or not buy everybody else's goods." The tribe would fail. You understand that? Because it's an international market. It's a global economy. You understand
Well,
that?
okay. You said we need other countries.
You
Why do we
do.
need other?
Because
Why?
everybody needs everybody else. If you have a good in another country that's cheaper or not even available in the US, like bananas, and you just say, hey, we're not going to buy from you anymore because we're Americans and we're individual and we're tough, right? And we don't need you. Now we're not going to get bananas. You
Well,
understand?
that's not the motivation, but
Well,
um,
there's no point then. What's the benefit of saying, "Hey, we can't trade with you anymore"? You understand that we are losing out on goods from other countries.
okay, okay, not getting bananas does not explain why we need other countries. Like,
You need other goods. You understand there's lots of other crops that the US needs in order to
okay,
survive.
let's say we're the only country that existed on the planet. Would we be able to survive?
It would suck. It would really suck. But yeah, we
But
survive.
we would do. Okay.
So what's your goal, Weston?
Um,
Is your goal to survive? Is your goal to be the
so
best economy that we can be? What's your goal?
what about um,
Weston, what's your goal within
what about your
economy? What's your
history?
goal with the American economy? What's your goal with it?
That it would thrive. That's both of our goals,
Then we
hopefully.
need to be able to trade globally.
I don't, and I disagree
Then
there.
you're just not educated on the subject. You There's so many products that the US needs from other countries that we
Need is too strong. I
well,
mean,
I mean without we wouldn't we just can't make them. We just don't have the ability to make them in the US, and
okay, for example,
even if we did, there's no
what,
way
like
we
what? Like, what's the example that we
wood
can't
from
produce here?
timber from Canada. We need that to be able to build homes effectively. We need crops from Mexico and Latin
We don't have
America.
trees here.
Weston, do you understand that the price of trees, if we didn't get them from other countries, would skyrocket? Or lumber, the
Okay.
price would skyrocket. We would survive, but it wouldn't be good.
Again, where's that money going?
I guess we would lose out on trees and have to pay. Wait, you understand supply
Who
and
are we
demand?
paying? Who are we paying?
It doesn't matter. We're losing out on trees.
That's the whole debate right there. That's why I have my position is because of where that money's going.
what does money matter if we're losing out on
That's what
resources?
makes a good economy
No, it's
thrive.
resources. Money is about
Okay.
exchange of value, and
Yes.
money itself to
Money
build.
represents
Yeah, it would
as
represent.
buying power, right?
It would represent more buying power if you could buy more with it.
Yeah. So that's why money is significant.
Yeah, and you would lose out on buying power if you
Yeah.
ran out of the amount of trees that you could buy. Lumber. If you limit the amount of lumber that's in your supply, you're not going to have as much lumber to build houses. That's bad.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's say we run out of trees. Okay. And there's more people.
Let
More.
me rephrase. We have a far reduced amount of lumber because in the U.S. we don't have as much capability to harvest lumber like other countries do. Canada's a big one. So now
Wait.
we have less lumber to use to build houses.
We have less
Pretty
lumber
simple.
because don't have the ability to harvest it.
No, because we have less capability to create
Less
lumber.
capability to
Yes,
create lumber.
far
Okay.
far less capability to create lumber. We have less lumber to, to
So
use.
okay. Okay. So that mean does that mean we have less trees or do you have less need of
That means that we now cannot build as many houses and other structures and other things that we do with lumber that we create for furniture, whatever we use.
yeah.
Now we are suffering because we have less resources.
Okay. So is it enough? Okay, I guess it would just be the question for me is it enough to build enough houses to keep us afloat, to keep for the amount of
I thought the
family?
goal was to thrive, not to stay afloat.
Well, okay. In other words, to have enough houses
Would we not
for
want as much lumber as we can get?
not necessarily.
Why? Why would we not want as much lumber as we can get? Lumber is expensive, by the way.
Yeah,
it's valuable and it's scarce, and we use a
I
lot of
agree.
it. So
Yes.
why would we not want as much of that scarce resource as possible? There's no way we're using too much lumber.
It's okay. First of all, just understand I'm not against trading with other countries. Okay. I'm arguing that we don't need other countries though. Like if worst came to worst,
Literally, we don't need them, but best economic policy would be to trade with other countries.
yes and no. Um, depends on
So not only can you not demonstrate that tariffs have improved U.S. businesses and American, independence and all that stuff and imposing American will, it's actually hurting our economy. It's hurting our reputation, which it used to be great. I mean, you realize that America stands used to stand for like really good things like freedom and morality, and now people just are like laughing at the U.S.
okay,
largely because of
reputation
Trump.
doesn't matter as much to me
So
at all. It's not
so
that doesn't really affect me at all. I mean, fine,
that's one
it's
of the
great to
reasons.
have
But that's
great
one of the
opinions,
reasons
but
why you supported Trump and tariffs is his foreign policy because you think he's imposing his will on other countries, and he's just people are just laughing at him. People don't respect the U.S. as much under Trump, and that's not good. And so, what are you talking about when you say that we're imposing our will or he's making us great or something? I don't even know. We're winning. We're not winning. We're losing, Weston.
I think that Okay, I could. Okay, respect. Okay, now I see why respect matters for other countries. Um,
let's say let's do you care what your neighbor thinks? Is respect with your neighbor valuable? Do
I
you want
think
to impose your will on your
okay,
neighbor, or would you do you
if
want you know I like it's just
if
bad. It's a
respect
bad
in the
look.
U.S. requires that we
But
have
it
unfair business
but
deals,
it doesn't.
then
It's made up. It's an
then
idea that it's just made up. There was no need for it. There was perfectly fine trade before, and
I
now
think
people
all
are
the
not.
deals are just perfectly fair.
No, but things were fine. Things were perfectly fine, and now they're worse. So I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about like, oh, all these deals were unfair. Well, Trump's strategy isn't working. The strategy of being
Okay,
tough and like saying like, hey, you need to do what we say, or we're gonna raise the prices, and it's just made things worse. They've raised their prices too.
okay. I think has worked in history. Embargoes have worked.
Tariffs
Um,
historically have hurt economies. That is, I think I wrote it down somewhere. Um, like, let's see here. I think, yeah, like empirical studies have shown that repeatedly throughout history, repeatedly, that countries that impose tariffs struggle. Their economy dips. And that's happening with the US. Like, historically, I don't think you have any examples. I think what you're saying is made up. Somebody told you that or something. It's not true.
okay. Again, I I just fall back on the idea that if people are encouraged to buy from U.S. businesses, even if that means at a higher price than they would have been otherwise, it is still in the U.S.'s best interest
So you
to
have
do
this
that.
idea that it's in the best interest, even though statistically it's not showing up, even though other countries hate us more, we're losing respect globally, our economy is hurting more, grocery prices rose, basic price of goods rose. I mean, basically everything that every daily American, middle class American, poor American needs has
I did that. I'm
risen.
fine with that. I think that
People
makes
are
sense.
worse off than they were. People are worse off than they were under Trump. Period. So
But here's the deal. Increased
what?
prices did not immediately correlate to worse economy.
But it
Okay,
has.
I think that's a false
Yes, it does because no
argument there.
buying power compared to the price of goods has decreased. That means that your daily consumer is suffering more. It means you're suffering more. It means I'm suffering more. Let me give you an example.
Though.
People today with their buying power um, cannot like we cannot buy homes compared to the previous generation when our productivity has skyrocketed with technology and our our wealth as a country has skyrocketed. Those two things, our productivity as a country and our wealth as a country, and the amount of we are the richest country in the history of humanity ever, and people can't own homes. People are struggling. People are living paycheck to paycheck. They go to the grocery store and they can barely afford food now because prices have increased and their wages have not. And what you're talking about is an idea. It's not manifesting. It hasn't manifested yet. So
You
what's the
said
point?
wages have
What's the
not.
they wages have not gone up. No, and
Okay.
especially
But
buying power. Buying power compared to inflation has gone down.
okay, you said wages have not. So
Sorry. The wages of middle class and poor people has not gone up. The wages of the rich people have gone up. So I don't know if you think that's a great thing or not, but the your everyday American could buy less. Let me ask you, what would you prefer, that the everyday American can buy more and can buy cheaper groceries and can buy a home, or that the money stays in America for whatever reason? What's more important, being able to buy more, or this idea that we need to keep our economy to ourselves, and we can't trade globally, or we shouldn't trade globally, or should we limit trade globally, or I mean, like, what do you think would happen if the U.S. was the only country left on Earth? You think that'd be good for America? You think, like, no, like the economy would
It's the
implode.
banana thing. It's like it's nice to have bananas. We can't produce them here. We're not a tropical climate, right? I mean,
Right.
except for maybe Hawaii. We probably have bananas in Hawaii, um, but it's not like we can't thrive as a country without bananas. There's many fruits we don't even get in the U.S. here. I
Would it
mean,
be
unless
would
you,
it be would it be a good thing to be able to have bananas?
yeah, it's a
Then
good thing
what?
to
Then
have
what? Then how is it a good thing to
mangoes.
not
It's a
have
good thing to
bananas?
have.
Then
It
why
would be a
would
good
then
thing
why
to
would
have the most.
then why
What
would
about
it be
rambutan? You know what a rambutan is?
then what? Okay, do you understand that bananas are a very very popular? We eat billions of them. They're cheap. They're nutritious. They're great food. Americans love them. Do you realize that it'd be bad if they didn't have them?
Okay. What about fruits that we don't have
You
right
didn't
now?
answer my question. Do you realize that'd be bad if we did not have bananas?
Would be, I mean, bad. I think that like
Would it be a
okay.
net? Would it be an?
I'll miss my banana every month.
Would it? Okay, let me rephrase.
Like,
Well, it's not. Let me rephrase. Would it be a net negative?
fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, it would be a net negative if we didn't have bananas. Would it
But
be a net negative if we had less lumber? Would it be a net negative if we had less lumber?
yeah, that's different. That's a lot better example. uh, yeah, if we didn't have lumber, obviously that would be a problem.
Right.
Okay.
So if would it be a net negative if we didn't have other crops like oranges and other things that are mainly Mexico or other Latin American countries? Would that be bad? Would that be a net negative?
Okay. Let me reframe the question now.
So those would all be
Do we
bad.
have
Yes.
to have every fruit on the planet to be a thriving economy?
Let me answer that.
Access to that fruit and at a cheap price, every single fruit in the entire world, and then we can be called a thriving economy.
This is getting away from the point that tariffs increase the prices of things, that global trade is good, that you think global trade is bad for some reason, and you think that America
But
needs
we
to
don't
be
have
vigilant.
rambutan very accessible here, so we can't have a thriving economy. So,
Weston, that's not what I said. You are twisting my
well, you're
words.
using bananas. That's the same
Well,
thing.
you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying not just bananas.
I know you're not. I know,
Then why are
but
you
you're
then why
making
are
a
you
big
trying
deal.
to
You're making a big deal out of
you're
bananas.
trying to twist that into something that I'm not saying. I'm not saying that we need bananas to thrive. I'm saying that we need global trade to survive. That's my point. And every time that you restrict that,
No.
you are hurting our economy. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I think I might have agreed with you if you said to do better, like maybe, but to say that we need
To
foreign
do our
trade
best.
is
To
definitely
do
over the
our
line.
best. To do our best.
Okay, that's better.
What
Can you say?
what
I mean, let's
what
say
is the
that.
what
Let's
is the
not go
goal?
with need.
What is the
Like,
goal? What is the goal with our economy, Weston? Is it to survive?
to survive and
Is that
thrive.
and thrive? Okay, what do we need to do in order to get as close to thriving as possible?
Most, I mean,
We need to trade with our friends and our neighbors.
maybe we need to lower our standard. Maybe lower our
Do you realize
entitlement.
that people are living under so much stress right now? They're living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay,
They can barely
we
afford
are a blessed
groceries.
nation.
They, we are, but you're
Our
also saying
standards of living are so high
then why can't
compared
they
to
be
any other period in the world.
why can't they be higher? Why would you limit yourself? Why
Why
would you say this is
do
good
they need to
enough?
be higher?
That's our goal. They don't. Our standards need to be as high
Wait,
as possible. And right now,
this is not a life and death thing.
listen. You
Not life and
okay?
death.
I want to correct you on something. You think that our standards are so high when right now people are living paycheck to paycheck. They can barely afford food, barely afford rent. This is not a good economy, and this is not acceptable because we are the wealthiest of the wealthiest of the wealthiest, and you don't feel like You don't feel like we should be doing better as a general people? You think that we should just say, hey, we are living paycheck to paycheck. We're struggling. We're stressed. We're worried that we're going to get fired and not be able to, um, support our families and all that stuff. And you're just like, I don't care. We're
But
doing
you want to
okay.
take
I don't
money
want to
away
do
from
better.
U.S. businesses.
If they suck, I do. If we can
Okay,
trade freely with other countries, then
that means
yes,
our
which also
jobs.
helps our businesses. You don't understand that either, which is our businesses want to be able to trade freely with other countries so that they can get the goods to create cheaper products so that
I
they can
get
sell their products for cheaper, still make a
that.
better profit. So what you're talking about is actually hurting US businesses. You think it's helping, but it's just not. Statistically,
Okay,
it's
I
not
could
helping.
I can see
I
how, again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, the materials idea, getting like again, building the truck and getting the metal with certain things. It might be cheaper. Yes, I can see how it would be cheaper to get it from another country. But and so if you just look at that business itself, it's going to be the image is going to be distorted a little bit because not only should we factor in that one business, the Ford that we've been using, but also the steel. Let's like the steel. What do you call them? Factory steel. Let's call it steel factory. That business which employs many people. Okay, if let's say all the vehicle manufacturing companies all bought cheaper, went overseas, uh, bought foreign steel and metals, then we would have no uh, metal businesses, businesses in the U.S. then, and then we would have no jobs that those companies would have employed. Would
So
have
let me ask you something. We increase productivity, right? Because if we get our goods cheaper from other places, we might not have a particular business. We don't need a banana making business because we don't. Obviously, we don't have a banana making business. We can't. So do you understand that we don't necessarily need these businesses? We can still thrive as a country and not have these businesses.
but that's what makes a economy thrive is thriving businesses.
Not necessarily. What makes an economy thrive is having people basically have resources. People, an economy thrives when you have the
Follow.
people. When you have the people of an economy thriving, I would say is when you don't have to stress yourself out, but you get the resources you need. You have mental well-being, physical well-being, spiritual well-being. You have the goods you need. You have household that you need. You have the information that you need, the community that you need. You have the goods you need. So, like I said, housing, groceries, childcare, access to jobs, and like instead of like working at a steel factory or whatever, you're now working childcare, which directly helps a mother. Now you're helping with her kids. Now she doesn't have to worry about that. Now you're both benefiting because your children are being taken care of. That kind of thing. That's what makes an economy thrive. Not necessarily the strength of a business, but how well the people are. Because that's the end goal, right? The end goal is how well the people are off, right? That should be the goal, right? Of an economy.
Yes, and that flows out of and follows from having successful business.
Not always. It helps, but not always. Like I said, we do not need a banana
Because
making. We do not need a banana making farm in America. We do not need a steel making business in America. Having those businesses helps. Yes, it would help. It would help Americans. How many jobs would a steel factory create? 500,
a
maybe
lot,
2,000. A lot, 2,000. How many people are there in the U.S.? What, 400 million?
something like that.
So you're employing point
Uh,
0.5% of Americans or something like that. 0.05. Yeah, it's 0.05% of Americans. Is that really helping? Maybe our priorities should be elsewhere.
okay, but if you apply that generally, that the economy, I mean, cannot work without business. So
Why not have different businesses then? Why not? The point of an economy is to help people live and have good lives and have good well-being. That's the
you need to
point.
work to live.
Um, yeah, but I mean, why can't you just do a different job?
You can.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the issue?
If there aren't businesses to employ you, though, then there's no
If there isn't
option.
a steel business or if there isn't a banana business, then have other businesses. Have businesses that help people
Yeah. Well,
directly.
first, the banana example again is weird because we can't. That literally cannot have a banana business.
That's what I'm saying. We
Yeah.
don't have a banana business. So what do you
So
do? What do you do when you
obviously, I'm
can't
not
have a
arguing
banana
for that.
business?
Um,
I'm saying that I'm saying that your idea of we need businesses is ridiculous. Like if we didn't have banana businesses, would we be okay? Yeah, because we can have other businesses.
I understand
Yeah,
that.
so then we don't need we can have a steel industry that helps the economy. We can make those things. That's great, but we can make other businesses. Do you understand that? We can have other businesses such
Yeah.
as
Let's
things
use
that are
our own
more
natural
relevant.
resources.
Sorry, what? I didn't hear you.
Let's, the basic idea is let's use what we have. Let's for whenever we have the natural resource here in the United States, let's use that.
All right, let's
And
and you know what? We are and we were just fine.
and
And we can. We don't have to have
for example, pipeline,
we don't have to have tariffs to do that.
oil
We
pipeline
don't
is
have to
another
have
Trump
tariffs to have
policy.
US businesses. Okay,
Okay, another example.
oil pipeline. Okay. Cool. Something, I mean, something that
By the way, just heads up, I got 20 minutes more. Okay.
something that Okay, so let's recap. You have this idea of tariffs as helping the economy. It hasn't shown up statistically in however many years that Trump's been president.
Statistics. I want to hear some statistics that you have somehow. Okay.
Prices for everyday Americans have gone up. Buying power has
Okay.
gone down for everyday
Hold on.
Americans.
What are your actual statistics that you have?
They've gone down.
Okay. How much? By
I
how
don't
much?
by a significant amount. And how I know that is because I go to the grocery store and I have to pay more, and that people around the country go to the grocery store and have to pay more. Buying power has gone down. If you want to look at like a decade, it's gone down
Hey,
significantly.
wait. So you're admitting that you don't actually. You're just going from experience of going to the store, or not?
No,
Because when
no,
you say
I'm not
statistics,
just
that
going. I'm
sounds
not.
like
That is. I think that's a valid way to tell, but that's not
it
just what
is.
I'm.
It is. But
But that's
you've
not
been
what I'm
hammering
just. But
over my
that's.
head the whole time. Statistics,
But
statistics,
you don't have
statistics. But you don't
anything.
have them.
I mean, you can go. You can Google it. You can do anything. You can look at the news.
Okay.
You can
So
look at
you're
what
putting
people are
all the burden
reporting.
on me to just. I have to have the statistics, but you don't have to have them.
I know for a fact that buying power has gone down.
Okay, but you've been saying
Absolute
statistics the
fact.
whole time. So do you have a statistic to show me that proves that? Because
Um,
that's the basis you're using. I'm not using that basis. I don't think we need to use statistics to come up with a good argument.
so then, why do you think the economy is doing well? I
The
will. I will. I will say that I could probably look up any kind of metric, and the U.S. economy is doing worse. So, but
okay,
do you have any metric that the U.S. is doing better?
okay, like I said, I'm not using statistic. That's not the basis of my argumentation. My argumentation is based on principle only.
And it's not working.
I don't think we've had some good back and forth. I don't think I'm still not convinced about that tariffs do not. I still think tariffs help our economy. I really do.